So this is something that if you're working alongside in fourth year, or if you have an understanding that you want to intercalate or you want to do a postgraduate intercalation, that you really need to know from quite a long distance away so that you have quite a long gap so you can be saving up gradually for it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Fajero and you guys are watching Fajero Talks. I know it's been a minute since I've come up here, uploaded a video, talked to you guys, had some one-on-one Fajero time. However, your girl has finished fourth year. Your girl is starting her master's in September and just all things are working together for my good. I really feel like I have the freedom right now to actually create content on my YouTube channel again. So I'm back officially. I know. This video is not about me though. This video is about you and you wanting to intercalate, which is exactly what I'm doing for this year. I'm intercalating and I'm doing a master's in global health. So I'm happy that you are joining me for this video. I'm going to make it brief. The points are going to be snappy, but if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below and I will be able to respond to you guys more directly or give you a tailored response depending on what you want. So let's get into this video. It's all about intercalation. It's all about helping you decide the right course, helping you with the finances, and giving you some big sister advice basically on the process of intercalation. So if this is exactly what you are wanting, please continue watching and make sure that you like the video, subscribe, make sure that you join the family. Would love to have you here. Without further ado, intercalation is the process of taking a year out of medical school, whether it's after second year, after third year, after fourth year, taking a year out of medical school to study a course that is similar or might not even be similar at all to the degree of medicine. So for me, that looks like studying global health. I've always been interested in international medicine, traveling and doing stuff with United Nations, NGOs, charitable organizations, especially where I come from, Nigeria, medicine there, and growing up there, seeing how the difference in care was from when I was in Nigeria to when I was in the UK. It was definitely something that I had on my heart to probe into, and I just never really had the chance to do it apart from in my global health student selected component in my retake year, and actually getting a chance to explore that. I just really enjoyed that time, and I guess that was really the confirmation that I needed to be like, okay, I want to take this further and I want to do a degree. And I ended up doing a postgraduate because most of the people that we talked to during that student selected component from the UN or from WHO, they're all like, the entry point is a master's. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take the bait, I'm gonna do my master's. And so that's how we got to this point here, where I'm going to start my master's in a few days time, and I'm going to, of course, walk you guys through the process, the journey, the year in total, the break from medicine, but also gonna help you guys with your intercalated choices as well. So this video is kind of split into three parts. It's gonna be the pre-application, the application, and of course covering the finances as well. For pre-application, basically what that involves is choosing the right topic or the degree that you want to do, choosing the university, and just making sure that you have your application knowledge together of what you actually want to do and where you want to apply. And for that, the best advice that I can give you guys is making sure that you guys go to websites such as intercalate.co.uk or similar websites where you can just search up intercalated courses or courses that specifically say they are looking for medical students who are intercalating. And I think this is a big point for me, because especially if you're doing a master's, most BScs that are on that website may already spell out that they're not looking for intercalations, but some of the masters, it's not as simple, it's not as clear cut. So for some of the programs that I was looking at, I actually had to email admissions team of that university and actually find out if they would allow intercalated students, and some of them were like, no, we don't allow anyone who's not graduated from their undergrad degree. So that's something that is really important, is to make sure that you have a database where you're collating all this information, because it will start to get a lot. Collating information such as the price of the masters, or if you're doing a BSc, the university, the name of the course, exactly the course requirements and the things that you need to do on your end to actually apply for that course. I was also very aware that I'd taken a retake here, and some university courses were gonna be a bit iffy about that. They needed to see a certain level of academic consistency or sustenance that I knew that I'd probably be setting myself up for failure if I just applied to that degree. Not to say that you can't, but it's to say that you have to make sure that you're looking for the nitty-gritties of what they want from you in the application process. But also make sure that you also ask the admissions team, because some of the information out there could be out of date. So for example, for the St. George's programs, I was on intercalate.co.uk and they were like, oh, you need to have passed every single exam in medical school first time for your application. And I emailed their team and they were like, no, that's pretty much out of date. We can take you even if you've had a retake year. Like I said, you have to be very much on the wave of collating information, putting it into your very own database. I was using OneNote. I created a section called intercalation and I was collating all the information into the pre-application folder of my OneNote. So I would say that's a big factor, is making sure that you are going back to the admissions team and confirming all the things that you're seeing online about these courses, because it's going to be such a huge help. But also in that folder, I want you guys to be gathering things that you are going to need to get approval for your intercalation. So for example, for me in my university, we had an intercalation interview, and that's where you had to basically do an interview with our intercalations team in the medical school and basically plead your case as to why they should let you carry out this intercalation. They would ask you questions like, why now? Why not later? How are you going to fund it? How are you going to keep up to date with your clinical skills? Like stuff like these are things that you probably need to have at the back of your mind whilst you're searching up the courses that you want to do, whilst you're thinking about the universities, where you're going to stay. Is it in your base now or going to stay with your parents? These things should be at the back of your mind. How are you going to be up to date with your clinical skills is a big question that they love to ask. But if your school doesn't end up doing an intercalation interview, then that already works in your favor. So after pre-application, of course, now is the application, the personal statement, getting your referee sorted out. How did I go about doing that? So in my application, I made sure from my pre-application phase, I'd gotten a list of all the courses that I was very much convinced I was gonna, apply for. And I think there were UCL, King's, and St. George's. Now for my application process, they were all quite different. St. George's had an actual application portal that I had to go through to put my application in. UCL, I believe it was a document on the website I had to download and fill out, and I had to email my referee the document that they had to fill out and send to the postgraduate admissions team. And for King's, I can't remember, I think they also had a portal as well. I'm not too sure about that. So it's very important, again, in your documenting phase, that you make sure that you're up to date with how to apply for these courses, because you're not dealing with UCAS anymore. You're not dealing with these like national databases. Each university has a tailored way that they want you to apply for the course that you are applying to. So make sure that you're up to date with how to apply, and making sure that you are really diligent with yourself to not miss out any single step. So for example, like I said, in UCL, they had a separate form that they wanted your referee to fill out. So making sure that you're up to date with that knowledge, and so your application isn't held up for any reason at any point. So one thing that I was told was to make sure that I don't just apply for one, make sure to apply for more than one. So I applied for 3. Majority were around the same, like personal statement. I just tweaked a little bit, but making sure that you do apply for more than one just to increase your chances. I ended up being accepted by my first choice, which was the St. George's program that I really loved. So that was amazing. I just loved how it was structured and how I could actually tailor the degree to me. So then again, it comes back to kind of the pre-application process of all the different details that you're learning about each course and how it appeals to you. Make sure that you make a note of it, because it will definitely train you in your personal statement, and including stuff that is individual to the courses. About personal statements as well, I also made sure to include bits about the lecturers and bits about specific modules in the course that I was applying to in my personal statement, because you want to make sure that you are making them feel like this is not a general personal statement. This is actually tailored because this person wants to be on our course. So make sure that you really you look through the modules that they've listed out on their website, and you're like, okay, this sounds like a bit of me. I'm going to include it in my personal statement, and here's why I feel like I would be good for that module, or here's why that module will be really interesting to me. Pull on your past experiences, pull on things that you have gone through in life, and how this course fits you like a glove. That's exactly what the admissions officer kind of wants to hear. You really want to sweet talk them into believing that this course is exactly for you. So if you've gone through that process really diligently in your pre-app phase and pulled out bits that you've liked from the websites, then I'm sure this will be really a breeze and a walk in the park for you guys. So of course, now we're on to finances. This is the third and the last section of this video, and it's quite important for you guys to nail down the finances bit, because it's just such a kind of stress relief when you don't have to think about how you're going to fund the actual degree. So for a bachelor's degree, if you're just taking 1 year out to do a BSc, for example, if I was doing a BSc in global health, I wouldn't actually have to worry about self-funding any part of the tuition fee, because that would actually be covered by the NHS bursary. So after your 4th year medical school, the NHS bursary will fund, I'm not sure exactly when it is, I think it's before your 5th year, the NHS bursary will fund your tuition fee and your maintenance loan in medical school. And this also is the same regardless of if you're doing an intercalation or whatever you're doing, as long as you've been studying for 4 years. After that 4th year, I think this is correct, yeah, after that 4th year, you will qualify to receive the NHS bursary for your 5th year of the degree. So my 4th year of medical school was actually my 5th year of medicine, because I did a retake year. So actually I had my 5th year already financed by student finance, praise God. So actually my first year of doing the whole NHS bursary would be my intercalation year. And so I was very much like calling them and making sure that, you know, I had a clear understanding that they would fund this year and my 5th year when I did come back into medicine for my final year. So these are things that, you know, it seems like it's quite trivial, very nitty-gritty to nail down, but it was really important to me to have that reassurance from either, you know, from NHS BSA or from student finance about what was going to happen with the funding of my next 2 years of medical school. So like I said, my tuition is going to be covered for final year, but also my tuition up to 9,250, which is the normal standard for university undergrad courses, was going to be covered for my master's year. So I had actually only needed to worry about the gap between the 9.2k and whatever my master's is going to charge me. And the thing about masters is that they're not very cheap. They're very much going into the £12,000, the £14,000. Sometimes I've even seen courses in the £16,000 ranges. So this is something that if you're working alongside in 4th year, or if you have an understanding that you want to intercalate or you want to do a postgraduate intercalation, that you really need to know from quite a long distance away, so that you have quite a long gap so you can be saving up gradually for it. For me personally, I was working as a social media manager through different roles, from, you know, freelancing to doing internships and working to do it for conferences. So I was doing all of that during 4th year, so I had quite a decent amount of money coming into my account on a monthly basis that was allowing me to put money aside for my driving lessons, to put money aside for this master's program. So by the time I was actually getting my confirmation to study for this degree, and I also applied for scholarships as well. I applied for a few scholarships and made sure that the things that I was doing was going to allow me to say, okay, I've saved up, the thing is £3,500 that I needed to bridge the gap between that 9.2k and the £12,500 that my master's course needed. So ultimately you are going to be in a comfortable position, and you're not going to be thinking about how am I going to finance this degree. But even if you are, always look out for scholarships, for, you know, bursaries, for all of these things that could help, you know, put you in a better stance. There's so many out there that I probably didn't apply for, I didn't know about. So there's lots of ways for you to bridge the gap as well when it comes to financing your degree. This is something that of course you don't have to worry about if you're doing a bachelor's program, because it's going to be 9.25k and NHS bursaries are going to be fine covering that. But if you're doing a master's or a postgraduate, just make sure that that is at the back of your mind, that it doesn't cost the same. And so you're going to have to do your due diligence and work out how much and where's the money going to come from. So that's the finances section. It actually wasn't as complicated and as long as I thought it was going to be, but it's just making sure that you guys are doing your due diligence. You guys are contacting these websites such as NHS Bursary. They're amazing customer service, by the way, so they would gladly be on the phone with you and you know, tailor their response to your particular application. They're really good with making making sure you are comfortable knowing what you're getting yourself into for the next, intercalated year and the next year of medical school. So that's it in regards to the finance section. But if you have any more questions that I did not cover in this, make sure to put them in the comment section below, and I will absolutely be happy to answer them. But this is it. This is all about the intercalated process, and I hope that you guys will find this useful, find this helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Please put it in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in my very next video. Bye.